A very good evening to you all. Thank you for watching UBC Television with me, Wadulo. Mark Arnold, thank you for joining us for the 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. Without further ado, let's take a look at our top stories before we get into the bulletin. In our top stories tonight, President Museveni and First Lady preach love and prosperity. Furthermore, Vice President Jessica Lupo advises parents on educating their children. UPDF engineers build health centers in Isinjiro district. And Luweero residents advised to focus on development. A lovely evening to you and thank you for joining us once again. We'll now give you the news in detail. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has commended the Covenant Nations Church headed by Pastor Patience Rabogo for striving to promote unity and conciliation of society through preaching the gospel of compromise and compassion. The President, who was accompanied by the First Lady, Janet Museveni, was speaking to participants of a 4-day crusade organized by Covenant of Nation leaders at Kabalega Senior Secondary School in Masindi District.
The Convent of Nation leaders have concluded a 4-day crusade at Kabalega Senior Secondary School in Masindi District under the theme, Light Up Bunyoro for Jesus. President Yoweri Museveni addressed the convention that drew participants from Masindi, Kagadi, Chiliandongo, Blissa, Chikowe, Hoima, Chibale, and Kakumiro.
We are here to repent and ask your forgiveness, Lord.
Tuizire hanu kwegarukamu ntusaba otuganyire Mukama
and the forgiveness of the people of this area.
Nokuganyira abantu abekichiweka kinu.
Lord, restore the favor that we had with them in the beginning, bringing healing into their hearts, Lord.
The President, who was accompanied by the First Lady, Janet Museveni, urged them to embrace the cardinal commandments of loving God with all their heart, mind, and body, as well as loving their neighbors as they love themselves.
If you are Christian, then why do you hate one another?
Ati munamuli bakristayo habwakini munobangana.
As Baganda, as Banyoro.
Banu Banyoro, Banu Baganda.
Bafuruchi, these are the Banyoro.
Banu Bafuruchi, Rundi Banu Banyoro.
So, those actions are unchristian.
The President also encouraged pastors to emulate Jesus Christ by following the 4 dimensions of preaching the gospel, healing the sick, feeding the poor, and hard work.
Jesus
Yesu
preached the gospel.
Yesu akatebeza injili.
Jesus
Yesu
healed the sick.
Yakiza abarwaire.
Jesus
Yesu
fed the hungry.
Yalisa abarumu agenjara.
Obuyalise 5,000.
Obuyalisize 5,000.
Nanyoka bubuni nkamanya mukatoito. But finally,
nimalira,
Jesus
Yesu
worked in the carpentry of Joseph. Himself, he worked in the carpentry.
Yesu wenyini akakora mubaijiro eria Yosefu.
President Museveni further reminded the citizens of their democratic right to audit their leaders and demand for proper services, and also urged pastors to preach against corruption to their congregations.
Some of our continued support did not get to them as planned.
Ebintu ebimu bitwabaire tuplaningire bitabahike. Byasigara muhanda.
There was laxity, negligence, and lack of diligence on the part of the team of leaders were entrusted with the resources to develop this area.
On her part, the First Lady, Janet Museveni, urged the people of Bunyoro to embrace the blessings of the Lord, who is giving them another chance to realize their destiny of making the sub-region and Uganda in general prosperous.
We all have a duty to pray for our homeland. Every nation has a unique redemptive purpose from the Lord. Therefore, my prayer for Bunyoro today is that you will recognize that it is the Lord who is visiting you once again.
Osobole kwetegereza nti Ruhanga omulundi gundi agarukire kukubungira iwe Bunyoro.
He's giving you another chance to fulfill your destiny.
Akuhereza chance endi okutaha mu magenda gawe.
Janet Museveni expressed her optimism that once people of Bunyoro make that choice today of forgiving and forgetting the past, the Lord will restore the sub-region and make it a praise in the midst of Uganda and all the nations.
Do not miss your visitation by being stuck in the past or wasting time.
Bairabo taferwa magenda gawe habo kulemera ebyeira rundo okulemera omumbeera yawe.
Don't waste your energy or your resources in petty fights, in blaming others and keeping unforgiveness.
Otasise sente zawe kakube ebikwato byawe byoyina kurwana obuntu butito.
Choose to forgive and let go of the past so that you can receive the future that God has prepared for you.
Pastor Patience Rwabogo described the crusade as an assignment from God. She said through teaching the word of God, people's hearts have positively transformed.
The people of Bunyoro
Ekigenderwa kyaito mukusaba kirinti abantu aba Bunyoro
should have a shift in paradigm
basobole kuba nokutwarwa haidare lindi haiguru
in the way they serve God,
omumulingo bahereza mukama Ruhanga,
in the way they live,
omulingo gubomera obwomezi
the
bwabo,
way they work,
omulingo bakoramu emirimu yabo,
and the way they relate to the wider world,
kandi n'omulingo bagiramu enkolagana n'amahanga gandi,
in order to really benefit from God's visitation.
At the same crusade, pastors led by Elder Kasaija Nicholas prayed for President Museveni and the First Lady and read a declaration asking for repentance and forgiveness that was later signed by the President and Mrs. Museveni. The declaration was signed dedicating the land of Bunyoro to God. Joseph Oko, UBC.
Furthermore, the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, has asked all parents to take their children to school without discrimination. The Vice President was speaking at a Thanksgiving Mass of the newly consecrated Bishop of Kotido, the Right Reverend Dominic Eibu, in Kalaki District. She delivered a brand new car to the prelate from President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to help him in his pastoral duties in the diocese and across the country.
I am pleased to hand over one Land Cruiser Prado, which was purchased by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, as a gift to you.
Major retired Jessica Alupo yesterday delivered a brand new Toyota Land Cruiser to Bishop Dominic Eibu at St. Joseph de Waka Parish in Kadamikan Parish, Kalaki District, which President Yoweri Museveni had promised during the bishop's consecration last week. Bishop Eibu was last week consecrated and enthroned as the third bishop of Kotido Diocese, taking over from Right Reverend Giuseppe Filippi upon the latter reaching the canonical age limit. Vice President Alupo thanked the family of the bishop for raising him and reminded them of their very big stake in continuing to support and guide him. She thanked the people of Kalaki for the overwhelming support they gave to the family, but especially to the bishop himself.
You are the ones who have made the bishop, and you should remain proud of the bishop, and you should continue supporting the bishop and making the bishop your own. His Excellency the President equally reiterated that government is going to continue working harmoniously with all religious institutions in the country. As government, we commit to deliver to the people of Uganda all the programs which have been lined up in the National Development Plan 3 and the NRM Manifesto concerning roads, railways, boreholes for the villages, peace and security, and we call upon all of you to support us, and especially the officials of government who are practically delivering those programs to ensure that they do them expeditiously.
Bishop Dominic Eibu hailed President Museveni for loving Christians. He said he will use the vehicle to preach the gospel as well as mobilize Christians to embrace government programs like the Paris Development Model. The prelate urged parents to allow their children to join religious studies, saying, God is waiting for them.
I would like to make an appeal to all the parents, both here in Soroti Catholic Diocese and also Cotido Diocese, some of whom who are here, that allow and encourage your children as well to join religious life and priestly life. What we celebrate today, it is because the family of Joshua and Masu gave in their son. So I encourage you also to encourage your children, and when they propose to you this interest, don't shut them down.
The event was attended by ministers, members of parliament, RDCs, politicians, and the clergy. Etole Ed Akanjo, UBC News.
Isinjiro, Mitoma, Kazo, and Chiruhura district leaders have applauded UPDF Engineering Brigade for the quality and timely construction works of health centers and schools, which will help improve service delivery. Uganda People's Defence Forces engineers will next month hand over construction sites of 6 health centers located in Isinjiro district, whose works are currently at over 90% completion.
The Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, chaired by Major General Henry Masiko, has assessed the progress of construction works being handled by Army's Engineering Brigade in the districts of Isinjiro, Mitoma, Kazo and Chiruhura in Western Uganda, engaging Uganda People's Defence Forces Engineering to construct health centers and schools, followed the President's directive to the Ministry of Health and Education to offer all construction contracts to the UPDF for quality, timeliness and effectiveness.
But in this area alone, there are 28 projects spread in the different districts, I think, and being on the ground. At times they have challenges, as we've been told, of weather. And when the weather comes in, the local engineers do undertake to compensate for that time, because it's not the fault of our own engineers.
In Isinjiro district, the UPDF is constructing a new block on each of the 6 health centers of Kagaga Health Center 2, Chigaragara Health Center 2, Chabahetsi Health Center 2, Birunduma Health Center 2, Rantaha Health Center 2, and Ranzojera Health Center 2. The project engineer Captain Tegeka Yunus explained that the project cost was about 1 billion shillings and works are at 90%, nearing completion. Uganda People's Defence Forces, however, encountered a challenge of access to good quality building materials given the geographical nature of Isinjiro district.
We are getting these bricks from Nyaihanga, that is in Tungambo district, in another district. That means we are ferrying materials over 200 kilometers to our sites. Even sand, as you have seen, there's no sand at those ends. We are getting sand from Chikagati area, that's towards Tanzania border. There's no water in the area. We have been ferrying water from Isinjiro town using a water bowser at 95% complete. In a few weeks' time, we are going to be done.
The Isinjiro District Superintendent of Works, Kanyamuhanga Edson, hailed the UPDF for the quality and timely works and said there has not been any contestation of any kind regarding quality and delay in the agreed project timeline.
This building, you see, the budget was around 230 million, but now we are going to have it at around 180. So to the district, our budget has benefited more than what it could have benefited using contractors.
The in-charge Birunduma Health Center 2 in Rugaga Sub-County, Bukanga North Constituency, Muhaire Silvano said the new structure will improve on the services to the community.
In this new OPD building, they are going to upgrade our facility, at least 20 centers, so that our people can benefit from these services, since the buildings now can accommodate the health center city.
In Mitoma District, the UPDF Engineers Brigade is constructing a modern maternity ward and a theatre at Bitereko Health Center 3.
Mitoma District, we are constructing this building, which has got a modern operating theatre and a maternity ward. The maternity ward will be on this floor and the operating theatre down. The intention is that they are upgrading this health center, Mitoma Health Center 3 to Health Center 4.
Court of work is measured every after work or before we use the materials. We take to the laboratory to be tested. Even after work, we do take especially concrete and timber, sand, aggregates.
At Kazo Health Center 4, the district speaker, Kazo District Council, Dan Nahorira, requested UPDF to increase manpower of the Engineers Brigade. The brigade is undertaking construction of 2 new blocks of maternity and neonatal wards.
That is being funded by these donors, and you can't tender them to, you can't give them to UPDF. They have to be tendered out to contractors, and they delay. Those people delay. We have a problem with a contractor who handled our technical school here. It has stayed for some good years. We return back money to the treasury. But if
meanwhile, the Kaoch Ruhura District local government, Chiberu Charles Sibuga, said the contracts committee of the district has already awarded a number of projects to the UPDF, including the long-awaiting administration block.
We paid everything, and the work is on schedule. We are also having that structure you are seeing there. We're also handing it over to the army. We have also the funds already complete. We want it the army to finish it. Because from experience we have observed it that they can manage.
I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia.
Preparations for the 37th National Resistance Army Liberation Day celebrations are underway in Kakumiro District. According to the local organizing committee chairperson and RDC of the district, Major David Matovu, all is set to host the day. Now, Liberation Day is celebrated every 26th day of January, and it's a day that the national resistance movement under President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni captured power in 1986.
Preparations for the National Resistance Movement Liberation Day celebrations are underway in Kakumiro Town Council in Kakumiro District. Kakeka Grounds is being prepared to hold the big day that usually attracts several high-ranking personalities in government and the diplomatic community. The local organizing committee chairperson and the RDC of Kakumiro, David Matovu, says all is set to host the day.
But I want to tell you that arrangements, preparations, mobilization, publicity is all moving on quite well. Here is the venue, Kakeka playground. It has been polished, stamps removed. We are paving it. We are going to put in maram. We are going to put stone chippings, and we are going to water like from 3 days to every minute so that we suppress the dust. The parade groups are here.
Up to where? Meanwhile, there are a number of developmental projects that will be commissioned by the president as part of the activities to mark the Liberation Day. One of them is 93-kilometer Kakumiro Nalweyo Buhimba Chikube Road.
Ndaguno kusigikira nengeri gwali guli goitaka nituvuga motoka nitugenda titwayikaga nambi tukujia niturara rugudo baitu tusemereirwe muno abwa muzeyi Museveni kukolera orugudo runo rukurugira kimahanu niruhika mpaka Buhimba Chorus habwire buno kusakugano habwire buno ngenda hoima ngaruka so nabwe tukusima mune enkoragana ya gavumenti ekukora mu myanda naho nalebo nabanja kusemerera muno aborugudo runo abokuba rwongeireho muno abyenkurakurana bya bunyoro buli mbali twatandikire ntuvuge emotoka nyonka banimvuga ku Rugaga yaza ningenda Kampala ninerore nimvuga cyonko muhanda twamara mugenda ku ibiri ku Rugaga yaza kwika mubende baitu ati omuntu okusakora une route ibiri ku Rugaga yaza noja mubende.
There will also be the launch of insurance of land titles by the president to the residents of Kakumiro, Chiwale and Kagadi, where the government aims at addressing the historical land conflict between the Baganda and the Banyoro.
We have been on the ground to ensure that they fast track this exercise, and as you can see, this is the last part. The titles are already out. They are trying to do small update of their data, otherwise they are excited and very ready to receive their titles. This is gold. This is money. I will appeal to people, let them keep this gold, this award by government, by the president. The president is so passionate about land injustice, and the history of Bunyoro is known by everybody. So NRM government on this day is trying now to launch the giving out of land to all the people of Bunyoro. So far, government put land fund, the Minister of Lands, Uganda Land Commission, and they have been procuring land from the absentee landlords, but also plus those who want.
Kakumiro, then part of Hoima district, was where President Museveni's NRA guerrilla group camped for tactical planning during the Bush War. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kakumiro.
Now, still in Kakumiro, the National Resistance Movement government is celebrating the Liberation Day on the 26th of January 2023, that is this year. Now, celebrations are to be held in Kakumiro district, one of the areas that was the epicenter for the Liberation War in Greater Luero sub-region. Let's have a look at this report.
Mu nsonga zonna ez'omuntu wa bulijjo naffe tuli beesiimu
is that not to cry over spilt milk. We should get up, we should work. We have land, Kabaka's land, we should till the land, we should enkumbi terimba. We should dig and till and engage ourselves in agriculture, not subsistence agriculture, but commercial agriculture, as President Museveni always encourages us.
Tubasindisemu ne ssente zino emiliyoni 3 ate nga tubakakasa nti mugenda kulaakulana kyama nina okulabika
being exemplary, but encourage them to be transparent, trustworthy, and avoid politicizing development programs.
Oweekitiibwa Dr. Jesse Muyingo ye ekibiina ky'amanya ayagala nnyo NRM nkakasa ne be tukolagana nabo bamanyi nti koogiramu bwoti n'ogiramu neddala n'akakasa nti ate otagala ku Museveni la haula. Dr. Muyingo aba akubye omugongo naye tatera kukulaga
nakigandi nti oli ayinza oteekateeka omukolo gwe emyezi
ddayo wali bakumpera omudigido
What mobilizes all the youth to forget their differences and remember the history of Uganda, where NRM found Uganda and where NRM has put Uganda now. That's our major reason. And another reason is to encourage the youth on developmental issues, economical issues. There is no way we shall sustain these youth into NRM when they are poor.
Uganda's tourism and hospitality industry has received a manpower boost of close to 860 who are undergoing a 6-month training at Kaweweta Recruits Training School in Nakaseke district. Addressing the trainees, the Chairman Board of Trustees of the Uganda Hotels, Food, Tourism, Supermarkets and Allied Workers Union, Stephen Mogole, say that the training has come at a time when Uganda Wildlife Authority embarks on merging with the Uganda Wildlife Training Center in ongoing rationalization of state enterprises and agencies. More details in this report.
Uganda Wildlife Authority is training 860 personnel at Kaweweta Recruits School. The Member of Parliament, Kaweri County Constituency and Board Chair, HTS Union, Stephen Mogole, said the training is timely for the improving of the sector workforce. This comes at a time when Uganda is repositioning its tourism and hospitality sector following COVID-19 and Ebola virus disease disruptions.
We are changing the human resource manual in OWA. We are changing the collective bargaining agreement in OWA. And by February, all of them will be accomplished. As we welcome back the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, the Telezoo, which you know, Zoo.
Mogole was leading a team of Uganda Hotels, Food, Tourism, Supermarkets and Allied Workers Union Board members to Kaweweta, where Uganda Wildlife is conducting training of about 860 staff.
These are recruits who are going to pass out in a few weeks, but before they go into the working life, they need to be introduced to what a workers' union is. And we are here to sensitize them, to tell them what the union does, what it has been doing, and what it will continue to do for them when they are working with the Uganda Wildlife Authority.
The General Secretary, Uganda Hotels, Food, Tourism, Supermarkets and Allied Workers Union, Maoku Moses, says it is against labor laws for employers to recruit workers in disregard of their work rights and privileges.
For us as unions, what we have done is to go ahead and negotiate some of the components of this convention into the collective bargaining agreement, so that with or without ratification, the members of the union, especially our union, has negotiated clauses in all our CBAs to cover for the key aspects of the Convention 190 in the collective bargaining agreement that we have.
Uganda Wildlife Authority has held a collective bargaining agreement with the HTS Union, and under this arrangement, all the workers of OWA are free to join the union.
All those terms and conditions of employment are negotiated, and once the union and OWA finalizes this agreement, the Ministry of Gender stamps to register, certify this agreement so that it becomes part of the law. You will find that besides the national constitution of Uganda, we have 8 different labor laws that are going to govern your relationships.
Uganda Wildlife Authority and Uganda Wildlife Education Center are set to be merged in the current rationalization of government departments and agencies. I'm Nafka Farida and Setumba Douglas.
Now, savings and cooperative society leaders have been cautioned against abusing members' savings. The National Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, Lieutenant Arnold Rubali, said this during the launch of the Team Thara Business Mobilizers Cooperative and Credit Society Limited in Kampala. Let's take a look.
Team Thara Business Mobilizers Cooperative Savings and Credit Society has been inaugurated in Kampala to help communities learn to save and also access credit. However, the National Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, Lieutenant Colonel Arnold Rubali, advises savings and credit cooperative societies leaders not to abuse members' savings.
And I'm pleased to have found all the regional players from all over the country, from Teso, Lango, Gulu, all over the country, as leaders who have witnessed this occasion. And on behalf of the microfinance fraternity, we do welcome officially the Team Thara Circle, which I do promise that we shall support within the law all that is necessary, and I've guided them of the few things they need to concentrate on. In summary, of team, of knowing how to manage their affairs, that's called internal controls.
Lieutenant Colonel Arnold Rubale, who was representing State Minister for Microfinance, implored members to spare time for development matters than concentrating on politics only.
We, at the helm of microfinance, we do believe that a lot of managers in the past have mismanaged funds. In the present, it's very hard to mismanage the funds for 2 to 3 reasons. The first one, as Minister of Finance, we put in place an authority to regulate SACCOs and money lenders, UMRA, to a point that before even being lent money from microfinance, you seek certification from the authority. That's the most important part. 2, I personally have encouraged the SACCOs to go digital. Members at instant level must know what they have, what they're going to get, and they get it quickly.
SACCO's chairman, John Mogesha Mushisomye, appealed for more support from government.
Now that we have launched a 5-year strategic plan and the circuit itself, so we are going to move forward, to move down to the different regions, telling members the use and the purpose for them and the need to be members of their own SACCO. Well, this is their own SACCO. Now what we expect is that members will get affordable, accessible credit facility.
As we have been advised by the Right Honorable Minister for Microfinance, we are going to open. Already we have been doing that, but as we have been waiting because of little funds to see how we can get support and reach to our people on the ground. Right now, since the SACCO is fully launched, opened, we are very sure that the government is going to put in money, and we are going to link up with our fellow sub-regional and district parish.
Now, researchers have found out that Uganda can take a leap forward in its adoption strategies to utilize clean energy. But this has been found to depend on how affordable and accessible the new technologies are. More details in this report. A 3-day Clean Energy Research Alliance workshop has fostered more collaboration amongst various local and international contributors to drive the energy sector of Uganda forward.
With digitalization, that is something of the past, because you'll get the services right where you are. At the cost, you only charged some small money, but then you're able to get your service through the phone that you're holding right in front of you.
Ugandan stakeholders in the energy sector are innovating towards reduced charcoal usage in favor of clean energy in both rural and remote villages in Uganda.
What we are doing is to work with the local authorities, ambassadors on the ground. In fact, for awareness, we've had a collaboration with a media company called Atonga Media to produce audiovisual material in form of a feature film that is a story of a typical woman in a community with the challenges in a home and how building her capacity, training her and giving her an opportunity to make a living from the clean energy sector has transformed her life. The feature film is called Beautiful Ashes.
Through research sharing, it has been projected that such a goal is attainable.
We've been doing research for about 10 years now, so we're doing fundamental university-led research, and the aim of the workshop is to bring this research to the people who are actually going to use it so that we can develop impact from that research.
It's been really fascinating being here at this conference to see that a lot of the issues that we're tackling as we transition towards to renewable energy, to net zero, are very similar to the ones that Uganda are facing. Issues around professionalism and skills, competence and trust by the public as we transition. I think that's absolutely key to making the transition to net zero happen. So it's about education and culture change, as well as about the actual innovation and technologies.
As the world struggles to cut greenhouse emissions to zero by 2030, emissions need to be reduced by 45% to reach net zero by 2050. Wadulo, Arnold, UBC News. And in another development, Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has rallied the people of Elgon sub-region to support his campaign of preparing the current generation for it to be in position to steer the country. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has been in Mbale City for the whole day.
This was the mood in Mbale City as the Elgon sub-region was set to receive the first son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba was attending a Sunday service at St. Andrew's Cathedral in Mbale City.
MK and the entourage, we are blessed to have you, and who knows, your coming might be bringing more of the blessings to this land.
The day's preacher was Bishop Eldad Milton Kisa, the Vicar General of St. Andrew's Cathedral.
I posed this question in the first service. I pose it again here. Do you speak to your family? Do you have time for your family, you man?
He notes that their continued absence from family responsibilities is almost costing the nation, especially the next generation.
The vices of homosexuality is eating us up, but it brings a curse. And we want to ask you who are in positions of responsibility, please help us who are down here.
In attendance were members of parliament, leaders of political parties, and the general public.
I want to thank General Muhoozi for being a God-loving man.
Shortly after the prayers, politics took the center stage.
I'll speak to the fact that some people say the church doesn't do politics, but from time immemorial, the church is fused with politics and economics. And politics is simply a contest of resources and the retention of the same. Therefore, at the right time, when the general is done with his tour of duty in the army, should he choose, like he may, to run the course of the presidency, I pledge to support him.
General Muhoozi's delegation not only attended the service, but lighted up the service with various donations.
About 15 million microphones, a few speakers, so that when you go to preach and praise the Lord.
When invited to speak to the congregation, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba had this to say.
Oh, someone is saying I remove the mask. Okay. I promise that we're going to come again to have a proper rally here in Mbale.
On his part, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba donated shillings 20 million towards the church projects.
I would like to make my own personal contribution of 20 million shillings to the church project. Here you have a project behind here that you're trying to construct something. So that will be our contribution to you.
From here, he then held a procession through Mbale City. This moment almost left the business in the city paralyzed. He later then addressed a section of youth from different areas in Mbale City.
Mnaelewa Kiswahili ama bwana? Mnaelewa?
Will you support us? Will the people of Mbale support us? Let me see who don't support. Put up your hands.
The day ended up with a simple stakeholders meeting held at Mbale Resort Hotel.
The timing has been quite an issue because it was not originally there. It was supposed to go to Sede and go straight back to Kampala. But nevertheless, this is a good start for us.
By and large, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba's 2-day countryside tour has been entirely peaceful. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Mbale City.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Happiness comes to us in many places. It's in knowing the mosquito net keeps our children healthy. The wife having the support of her husband. It's in deciding together when to have a baby. And for some, focusing on what's important right now. So what's your happiness? Make the right health decisions to ensure happiness for you and your family.
*11. Keeping an eye on all your balance the old way.
I got this. Yeah. Balance is... Yeah.
What is he up to now?
*11.
Keeping an eye on all your balance with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to see all your balance in one place and in real time. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
I do miss you.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF. Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. Now in the world of business. Buganda Kingdom and the Catholic Church have continued to focus on energies that bend towards environmental conservation. This has been highlighted at a two-day Buganda School Skill Exhibition hosted at Buganda Heritage Tourism Center.
The Buganda Schools Skills Exhibition has climaxed with the Catholic Church and Buganda Kingdom determined to ensure the youth carry the ambassador role for environmental conservation.
Part of the process of educating the children is to make them sensitive to our environment. The environment, Mother Earth, is our mother. It sustains us and it helps us to live.
Kampala Archdiocese Vicar General Charles Kasibant appreciated the environmental conservation efforts of companies like the exhibition sponsors Journey SMC Limited, whose products like the herbal soap and cream are environmentally friendly.
In addition to Journey herbal tea drink, we also get other products from the leaves. These leaves have very many components in them. For example, one of them is this eucalyptus essential oil, which we get after boiling the leaves. It is 100% natural.
Post-primary schools like Munta, City View, Hamdan, Gombe and several tertiary institutions like Uganda Matters and Ispat University showcased available opportunities to parents and scholars.
Uganda Revenue Authority has lost about 300 billion shillings due to illegal trade of fuel within 4 months from September to December last year. West Nile region is one of the regions with the highest illegal smuggled fuel in Uganda. The rise in fuel prices worsened the situation, particularly in West Nile district, as most of the people in the region resort to consuming fuel from roadside sellers other than going to the fuel station. We have a detailed report.
The Uganda Revenue Authority has lost about 300 billion shillings of tax from fuel business between September and December last year. This is due to rampant illegal sale of fuel that has flooded the West Nile side of the country. Commissioner for Customs Department at URA, Abel Kagumire, disclosed this during an engagement with the local leaders of West Nile, called by Arua City resident commissioner on illegal trade of fuel, as the authorities' collection dwindled from a daily collection of 15 billion to 12 billion shillings.
On a daily basis, we collect 15 billion from fuel, and we are talking of PMS, that is petrol, we are talking of Argo, which is diesel, of course Jet A1 for airplane don't pay, and kerosene. So in a day, if URA does not get 15 billion of fuel, we've performed below the target. So from September to December, we collected below 15 billion. The highest was 12 billion per day.
The illegal fuel carried in jerrycans is smuggled through Uganda's porous borders with the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan. The commissioner attributed the smuggled fuel as the main cause to the loss, as recognized the fuel station operators threatened to close their operations due to low sales.
The fuel that comes in West Nile pays from Kampala because it is supplied by Total and Haas and the other companies that bring. So the challenge we have is fuel that comes, because if people are selling on the streets, it means they are not buying from these companies. So the losses they have told us, every company tells us their loss. Total Energy is lost by 14%. Vivo Energy lost by 12% market share. Gasline is also negative by 24%. That one was just trying to establish itself. Because these are the ones which are regulated and are paying taxes. So if we don't protect them, they will close.
However, the RDC of Koboko District, Tom Olinga, said illegal sale of fuel has also led to diplomatic issues, as South Sudan authorities have expressed dissatisfaction due to diversion of fuel tankers by URA from Oraba and Kaya border posts to pass through Elegu.
And once the trucks were diverted, it brought about an issue of loss of revenue to Koboko as a district and Koboko as a municipality. The same thing with that's Southern Sudan, that's Kaya. Even here, Arua. And even when we had a meeting with the governor of the Central Equatorial Province, it was also raised that they are not happy as a result of the diversion of the trucks from Oraba, because these counties generate their revenue. So what we are saying is that we should curb this vice, that even we start putting the East African community in its functionality, because you can't deny your neighbor a service because of smuggling.
Legislators from West Nile said loss in revenue by URA has a setback to service delivery in the country and warned collaborators in the communities and the government aiding the illegal trade of fuel.
And this is a challenge to us as the government also. What can you do then for these young ones then to come out of this ignorance? I said ignorance because they don't know what they're doing.
We also want to warn those who are collaborators with those who are, operating in this illegal fuel business. We have collaborators in government, we have collaborators who are in the communities. We are warning them ahead of time.
In a resolution reached, where enforcement will be affected by UPDF, police and intelligence, West Nile leaders have pledged support to the cause.
We've done everything we could to abolish this, but we failed. So this meeting today is going to take us to another level.
Joseph Fodama, UBC News.
The Capital Markets Authority of Uganda has inaugurated a new board of directors, seeing its headship transferred from Ms. Jacqueline Kobusinje Opondo to Mr. Saul Seremba of the Insurance Training College. The CMA might boast to have exceeded their NDP3 goals before 2025, but this comes amidst an uphill challenge. Let's have a watch. The Capital Markets Authority has been tasked to educate the public more about the money markets if Ugandans are to participate in raising capital.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do not seem to have many options now for financing our development, apart from looking for options like this one, the capital market. The market is increasingly volatile. Those who have been giving us concessional loans are slowly coming out. So we really don't have so many options. We have to rely on our people, our companies, investors, to raise the necessary capital for our investment.
Currently, investments in Uganda's capital markets are inclined to middle and upper class citizens who access financial services efficiently.
The number of investors has grown from around 6,000 at that time to about 48,000 now, and we still think that it's still a small number. We expect to see about over 200,000 Ugandans invest in these assets because they are flexible, they give relatively higher returns than savings in banks. They're easy to withdraw. And if you look at countries like Ghana, for example, the Ghanaians have about 950,000 Ghanaians invested in collective investment schemes. So we don't see why we can't get to that number over the next 5 years.
Ms. Jacqueline Kobusinje Opondo and her outgoing team leave behind groundwork for the new board to take on.
The board also approved the stakeholder consultations for 2 regulations under the Collective Investment Act, Schemes Act. In October 2022, the board also considered and approved the regulatory impact assessment for the CMA Act in collaboration with the Cabinet Secretariat, providing a basis for the amendment of the CMA Act.
Automation of the processes and procedures at CMA will be critical in our term, and the organizational review, because we cannot achieve a lot if the structure impedes forward movement. So we shall ensure that the organization is fit for purpose, both in terms of staff capacity and strength.
The board consists of representatives from various government MDAs and private sector. Wadulo, Mark Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.
The most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment. Because a good school equals a better life. Raising voices.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back, and now on the international scene. A U.S. airstrike assisting government troops in Somalia has killed about 30 Islamist al-Shabaab militants in the U.S. The U.S. military has said. The operation happened near a town of Galkad, about 260 kilometers northeast of the capital, Mogadishu. Over the past few days, the Somalia Army and al-Shabaab militants have fought for control of the town. Friday's strike came as the army was being attacked by more than 100 militants, the U.S. Africa Command says. Earlier, the Islamists killed 7 soldiers after storming a military base in Galkad. Somalia's information ministry said dozens of the militants were killed. Al-Shabaab has been fighting Somalia's central government since 2006, aiming to impose an extremist Islamist regime. While it has been pushed out of Mogadishu, the other areas it continues to attack military and civilian targets. Last Monday, the government said that its army and local militias had captured the port town of Haradere, which had been a key al-Shabaab supply center since 2010. In its report on the Galkad fighting, the U.S. Africa Command said 3 al-Shabaab vehicles were destroyed, and the command assesses that no civilians were injured or killed.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. everywhere you go. MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News and now into the world of sports. South Africa has beaten Uganda to the Under-18 Africa Softball World Target. The two sides have over the past 3 days engaged in the qualifier at Uganda-Japan National Baseball Diamond in Gayaza. Let's have a look.
Uganda's chances of capitalizing on home advantage to seal a slot at the Under-18 Softball World Cup in Mexico later this year have been dented by South Africa.
This tournament coming here and you're looking at the standard of the game for our Under-18 men, I'm actually impressed because in the past when I go and run qualifiers in Africa, you get games that are actually going on and you see the run-ahead rule and you see the standard. But the standard that I see today between the two teams, that is South Africa and Uganda, is quite impressive.
What we do in South Africa in terms of softball, we do lots of practice and we try to play against big opponents and to make sure that we keep our players fit and engaged and to make sure that they do the right thing and they learn.
The South Africans dominated the 7-game series with a 4-3 victory over the hosts at the Uganda-Japan National Baseball Diamond in Gayaza.
We are having the games. The first day when we had the games, we actually understood we had weaknesses at some point. Basically offense, but in defense we're the best actually in Africa.
Uganda Baseball and Softball Association President Felix Okuye prides in the effort of the boys against the continent's top-ranked team that prior qualified to the World Cup minus contesting.
So it's an exciting thing. It has shown the quality of softball that we are having in the men category, and it's overwhelming the performance we are having because this is the only team we had not yet met and it is the top-ranked team in the whole rankings of Africa. So it's a typical exciting final.
Uganda Baseball and Softball Association now switches focus to the Under-12 category that travel to Kenya on Monday for a regional competition.
Furthermore, the CP Trekkers have been crowned winners of the Cricket Women Waterfalls T20 Elite League 2023 after defeating Itanda Trekkers by 21 runs. The final game of the 4-day tournament was played at Lugogo Cricket Oval this evening. And the league had 3 teams, Itanda, Kayakers, CP Trekkers and Bujagali Rafters playing round-robin games for a spot in the finals. Let's have a look.
After 4 days of back-to-back games, intense play from the Itanda Kayakers and 2 leapfrog wins from the Bujagali Rafters, the CP Trekkers have been crowned winners of the 3rd edition of the Women Waterfalls T20 Elite League. The Trekkers defeated fellow finalist Itanda Kayakers by 21 runs after a do-or-die final that ended 97 runs for 6 wickets for the Trekkers and 76 all out for the Kayakers.
It's been an honor for me to be able to captain the CP Trekkers. We have had so much fun. The girls have learned so much. We played as a unit. We have basically enjoyed ourselves, and I hope that we get to play more of these tournaments in the future.
Janet Mbabazi and Proskovia Alako had outstanding performances throughout the tournament, Mbabazi showing all-rounder clinical skills and Scovia gathering over 100 runs with a total of 783 points from the event. This tournament also had international players, namely Diane Biminyimana and Sarah Uwera from Rwanda and Vanessa Odiambo and Veronica Mbuga from Kenya.
First of all, we'd like to appreciate the quality of the cricket that has been played by the girls over the last 4 days. Amazing cricket for them. It was on short notice. A lot of them hadn't been practicing at all, but they came here and gave it their all. So we're very, very happy and proud about what has happened. I mean, the event in itself has been very good partners and sponsors. So on the overall, I think we're very, very proud. It has been a good curtain raiser for us with the main event of the men coming up next week.
The Uganda Cricket Association uses this event as an avenue to scout for talent for the national team and a curtain raiser for the cricket calendar. Grace Joyce Kemgisa, UBC News.
And still in sports, the curtains have fallen on the 7th Ali Guma Foundation Banda Slam Soccer Tournament hosted in Acholi Quarters. The theme of this year's edition was Ndimwana and purposed to promote the girl child. Let's have a look.
After months of competition, the Aliguma Foundation-sponsored Banda Slam Soccer Tournament hosted in Acholi Quarters has climaxed. This tournament was played on the theme of Ndimwana, which purposed promoting the interests of the girl child, but with total commitment from their male counterparts. The closing ceremony that brought the best out of all concerned fans and players alike was graced by State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang. The purpose of the Aliguma Foundation is primarily to continue transforming communities through sport and enterprise, with most emphasis on the girl child in education, protection, and fighting for her. There were several games on the day, with the netball final between Blue Wave and Hilton, the women friendly involving Nagulu Select and Acholi Quarter, while Hilton and Nobles contested the boys under 14 as Hilton played Acholi Quarter Select in the under 13s category. The main final of the day was won by NBA Shooting Stars after a nerve-wracking penalty shootout over Nakawa Boys.
Yes, and that brings us to the end of our News Tonight edition. Thank you for being a lovely audience. With me, Wadulo, Mark, Arnold. Please do enjoy your week. Thank you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn, and hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Kampala City Grammar Nursery and Boarding Primary School, Mutundwe, is the school which educates your child with good morals, godly behaviors, and passes with a first grade in education. We have transport for students that come from long distances. We have a well-hygienic daycare for babies and playing materials for children. Our classes are of a higher standards. Give us your child and you will never regret. Registration is in progress at Kampala City Grammar Nursery and Primary School, Mutundwe. For more details, call 0705 640-880. Kampala City Grammar Nursery and Primary School, Mutundwe. In God we trust.
On the 26th of January 2023, Uganda will mark the 37th anniversary of the Liberation Day, when the ruling National Resistance Army stroke movement took over power. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will preside over the event that will have people of different walks of life join to celebrate years of liberation, peace, prosperity, and socio-economic transformation. The celebrations will be broadcast live in Kakumiro district under the theme, "Our resolute effort to transform Uganda is a promise we shall fulfill."
Hello Ugandans, Happy New Year. I'm Nabayego Hamida, Secretary Remand B Village, Registrar of NRM at the village. I'm happy to be with you here, celebrating the 37th year of NRM. Our theme, tirelessly efforts to transform Uganda, is a promise we cannot fail. We have done so many things. All those things are Emyoga for Ugandans, parish model, wealth creation. All those are part of Uganda to come from the poverty we are in. I would like to ask all young generations to be part of the theme. Please, all young generation, try to go to your parishes to see that you can be able to join the parish model, and border people or whatever, you go to Emyoga. Long live Uganda, for God and my country.
My name is Bamwine Fred. I work with the President's Office, a commissioner in charge of Kampala Metropolitan. I supervise RDCs in Kampala Metropolitan. As we commemorate the 37th anniversary of NRM, by the time they captured power, I think we have made milestones. The theme of this event is to cross-check the promises we made by 1986 and how far we have gone. By 1986, Uganda, first of all, it was a failed state. Every hero of Kampala was being manned by a different fighting group. You can talk of NRA, you can talk of FUNA, you can Rescue Front, FEDEM, very many groups. So the state was not in control. And when NRM captured power 37 years ago, the president and NRM promised Ugandans that Ugandans will be secure and all the borders of this country will be secured by the government of Uganda. And I can affirmatively state that all the villages of Uganda and the borders of Uganda are in control and in the hands of Uganda. Two, by 1986, life of Ugandans had become meaningless. Bodies littered around the town, so you could not be in town by 3 o'clock. When you get a chance, you say, what were you doing? But at least that one has become history. There's no extrajudicial killings. Even when a government officer, like a soldier, if he commits a mistake and kills a human being, I can quote recently, there was a man who killed his girlfriend in Kisoro. Recently he was sentenced 38 years in prison. So life of Ugandan is valued by the government, and Ugandans can enjoy their life throughout the day and the night. By 1986, all the essential commodities in the country were being imported. And to the extent that you could not have a function and you have soda there, drinks and what, you must get a letter from the Minister of Supplies. I can state categorically that all the villages of Uganda have essential commodities, and you can go and buy from anywhere. You don't need a minister to give you a cheat that you have function, therefore you need a soda or beer. 1986, all the industries had collapsed. I can assertively state recently I was an RDC in Uyukwe, in Mukono, in Mpigi, in Kampala. We are boasting, we are talking of about 9,000 industries and factories making a wide range of commodities which are all, I can say 80% of the items or commodities that are being used in a household are all manufactured in Uganda. Industries of the private sector is employing close at 7 million Ugandans, which was a dream in the past. By 1986, when the government was capturing power, leadership was for the chosen few, appointed by the leaders of the day. But now we can talk about 4 million leaders elected by the people, from LC1 to the president. All power is shared democratically, and Ugandans enjoy their dignity of life and leadership. Lastly, by 1986, Uganda was collecting tax of about 5 billion, but we are talking about 23 trillion shillings collected by Ugandans. That's why this time we are able to finance most of our infrastructure, roads, electricity. Electricity by 1860 was 60 megawatts. Now we are talking about 2,000 megawatts. That's a huge, tremendous. We can talk endlessly. Education was for the chosen few. But now we are talking of UPE, USE. University was one. Now we are talking of about 60 universities. Media. The media that time, you remember, it was UTV and Radio Uganda. But now UBC, an owned government station, is competing with other players, almost 300 media houses. So long live NRM, long live President Museveni, long live Uganda, long live Ugandans. The struggle continues.
Hello viewers, my name is Henry Maiga, Consul General of Uganda's Consulate in Dubai, and I'm happy that the 37th NRM Liberation Celebration, with the theme "Our Tireless Efforts to Transform Uganda" is a promise we can't fail, is going to take place, and there are quite a number of things that we must celebrate as a result of this liberation struggle. One of them is the restoration of peace in the country, unprecedented peace, because for so many years the country had gone through a lot of political instability. But since the advent of the NRM administration under President Yoweri Museveni, a lot of achievement in terms of maintaining peace in the country and keeping the country together has been achieved. And as a result of that peaceful environment that President Yoweri Museveni and the NRM administration have created, we are seeing quite a lot of progress in terms of infrastructure, road construction, health facility construction, modernizing the army, police, re-equipment, and quite a number of other things, which have all been possible as a result of having the peace in the country. And so that's extremely important, and these achievements are things that we need to celebrate on this 37th NRM Liberation anniversary. Extremely important for us, and therefore I just want to say long live NRM, long live His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, long live Uganda, and for God and my country.
On the 26th of January 2023, Uganda will mark the 37th anniversary of the Liberation Day, when the ruling National Resistance Army stroke movement took over power. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will preside over the event that will have people of different walks of life join to celebrate years of liberation, peace, prosperity, and socio-economic transformation. The celebrations will be broadcast live in Kakumiro district under the theme, "Our resolute effort to transform Uganda is a promise we shall fulfill."
My name is Chigundu Kavandwa, a member of the National Organizing Committee of the National Functions. So we are here to celebrate the 37th anniversary of the liberation of Uganda, with the theme of "Our resolute effort to transform Uganda, a promise we shall fulfill. Meaning that by all means we have to fulfill the promise which we are promised the people of Uganda, which we are doing now. Like security, like democracy, like modernization of agriculture, like Bonabagagawali, to mention a few. Otherwise, we are doing well, and the effort is to fulfill those promises which we agreed with Ugandans when we are fighting the liberation struggle. Number one, we have achieved first is security, number two is democracy, number three is transformation of society. So many things, as I have mentioned, we have achieved all of that. That what we are looking for is sustainability of what you have achieved. If someone to be referred to as a hero,